So the stomach is going to secrete several things because we need to make sure that we're protecting ourselves. Now, you'll notice that the most interior of all of our cells are going to be these surface mucus cells. You'll notice here that it says secretes alkaline mucin. Well, that makes sense since we have lots of acid up here. We're talking a pH of like 1.5 to 2. So incredibly acidic environment on the inside of the stomach. So it makes sense that the mucin or the mucus that we're secreting with these cells is going to contain some alkaline ingredients to make sure that we can protect the cells. Now, this is important because if we were to get too much acid touching these cells, we can actually start to form ulcers, which can be basically like little wounds and stuff on the inside of your stomach because the tissues are damaged, and that can lead to lots of other problems. So we don't really want to do that. Now, then we get down in a little bit deeper into the gastric pit, and we're going to find our mucous neck cells. Now, these mucous neck cells, so notice that we're in the neck of our gastric pit. These are going to be secreting a little bit less alkaline mucin rather. So what this means is we don't need to be nearly as alkaline here because we're a little bit further away from the actual super acidic stuff on the inside of the stomach. We don't need nearly as much base here to keep us nice and safe and happy because we are a little bit further away from all of the acid up here. That's going to allow us to have a little bit more of a neutral environment down here for the rest of our cells and their gastric secretions. Then we get into our parietal cells. Parietal cells are important because these are going to be the ones that are helping us secrete the hydrochloric acid that is found inside the stomach. The hydrochloric acid is important because this is going to act as a mechanical digester. It's also going to help us activate pepsinogen and turn it into pepsin so that we can start to digest proteins. Without hydrochloric acid, we can't activate those enzymes, and this process does not work. So we need to make sure that we actually maintain this very acidic pH in the actual lumen of the stomach without messing up our environment too much down here in our gastric pits. This is why it's actually somewhat dangerous for you to take too many antacids in addition to dealing with calcium and all that kind of stuff. But it's because we have enzymes like pepsinogen, like gastric lipase in our stomach that need an acidic environment in order to function correctly. We know that proteins tend to denature if you place them into pHs that are too high or too low. If we change this pH too much, those enzymes aren't going to work, and we're not going to be able to digest our food, which gets problematic real fast. And these parietal cells produce that hydrochloric acid that helps us make that acidic environment and help us activate pepsinogen. Now, pepsinogen is produced by these chief cells. Notice that we're kind of these roughly column-shaped cells, but the nucleus now is found all the way down here at the base, okay? Now, these chief cells are producing pepsinogen and gastric lipase. These are two very important digestive enzymes. Pepsinogen is going to be important for helping us turn big proteins into smaller peptides. So it's basically going to take big proteins and cut them into smaller proteins or polypeptides. By turning them from something really, really large into something workable, we can now take those workable peptides and turn them into amino acids later on so that we can absorb them, because we can't absorb just used proteins. Gastric lipase is actually going to help us start the process of digesting fats. So like lipids. So this enzyme is acting on lipids, and it's produced by the gastric system, so it's in the stomach. So that's kind of the name there. And then finally, all the way down here, kind of towards the bottom of our gastric pits, we're going to find some G cells. Now, these G cells are important as endocrine cells because these are basically going to secrete gastrin into the body, which tells us, hey, we have eaten, so that you can start to get some of that sensation of being satiated. Like, hey, I don't need to eat anymore because I've got some stuff in my stomach and I'm good. So those are going to be kind of some of the main parts and pieces of the actual gastric juices.